Hey, I'm Sensei Kevin with today's Coach's Tip. Today we're going to discuss common mistakes made by students when kicking. One very common mistake when kicking is students will drop their hands. And so we want to encourage them to keep their hands up so they can protect themselves. Okay, they can have their hands closed or open, it's up to them. So we don't want our hands moving around a lot. There's a couple different ways that they can practice that too, is they could grab their gi if they're having a tough time with it. They can touch their face too to help them. So yeah, we just don't want to drop our hands. Or sometimes their hands will go everywhere, they'll lose their balance. So that's one common mistake. Another common mistake is the posture. So this time, instead of dropping their hands, they'll drop their head. Kind of like that. So we want to try our best to have good posture when we do our kicks. You could try to balance a book on top of your head. It's okay to lean back a little bit if you're trying to put your hips into your kick, but rarely do we want to lean forward. Another common mistake students make is they have bad foot positioning. That basically just means if you're doing a front ball kick, you have to really stick out the ball of your foot. If you're doing a front heel kick or a side kick, you have to stick out the heel of your foot. If you're doing a front instep kick, you have to point your toes. So it's important that the position is really strong, because if you hit something and you're not in that strong position, you could really break your toes or hurt your foot. We don't want our foot to be very loose and bouncing around when we're doing our kicks. Have strong foot position. So another common mistake students make is when they kick, they forget to bend their leg. They'll kick like that, maybe. And it's supposed to be more like this. Okay, or like this, depending on what kick you're doing. So we want them to come to what we call flamingo position, and then they'll do their kick, and return to flamingo position, and then come back to their starting stance. Sometimes they'll forget one of those flamingo positions, so they might start, and then kick, and then bring it down. That would be incorrect. Or they might just miss it altogether. So the flamingo position is another common mistake students sometimes forget to do. On a side kick, that's a common one. So side kick, we bend our leg, we kick, we bend it, and then we come back again. Sometimes students will kick and then they're going to do something like that. So we don't want to do that as well. There are many different ways that we kick, and sometimes we're moving around and stuff, but when you're a beginner, we usually have you start in a half moon stance. So when we're doing the kicks, we want to return to this stance. Hands up, you kick. Your feet come right back to that same starting position. Kick, return to that same exact starting position. So the mistake they'll make sometimes is they'll kick, and they'll move all around with their feet, and and then they don't know where to start again, maybe they come back, so that would be incorrect. They would do their kick, they would lose their balance, maybe move around with each foot. We want them to kick and return right back. This happens a lot for the side kick as well. So when we do a side kick, generally we'll start like this, look to the side, kick, and return to the same position. Sometimes students will make this mistake where they kick and they lose their balance. So they extend that leg and they don't bring it back, they just sort of fall out with it. That's another common mistake. Another common mistake students make is they just simply forget to bend their front knee. When we're kicking, we always want that leg, our base leg, that's holding our balance, to be slightly bent. We don't want it to be super straight. If it's super straight, it's tough to have good balance. So make sure you keep your front knee bent.